Hey y'all, I'm doing something a little different. I'm starting a series of interviews. I am interviewing people, family, and friends to get their story. The title of this series is Tell Me Your Story. I want to introduce you to my childhood best friend. Her name is Melody. Melody, would you like to tell us about yourself?
I am 47 years old. I was born in Harlan County, Kentucky at ARH Hospital, delivered by Dr. Lee, March the 29th, 1978. I grew up in a little tiny trailer until I was in 8th grade, and then my dad got a settlement for getting in a rock fall in the coal mines and got injured, and they ended up buying a double wide. I got to be able to have friends and stuff over more whenever I got in high school. My childhood was kind of sad because there was a big difference made between me and my brother. My mom tried to not be as much as my dad, but my dad thought girls had their place and boys had their place. He was a whole lot harder on me than he was on my brother. I just have one brother. His name's Robbie, and he has problems. He has been in prison for abusing his girlfriend, and he abused me throughout our life. Always wanting to fight and fuss, making fun of me for being overweight. It caused me to have, a lot of nervous problems and a lot of anxiety and depression. My dad was a coal miner. My mom was a school teacher, but my mom also was. She didn't go back to school to be a teacher till later on in life. She done upholstery with my grandmother, so she'd be at home with me. My brother when we got home from school. They reupholstered furniture, and she worked over there at the furniture factory when I was in high school while she was going to college. It taught me that you're never too old for education. You always need to be trying to better yourself, and hard work don't hurt anybody. My favorite tradition that we have to celebrate, we celebrated, was Christmas, because that's the only time my family really expressed, not just with gifts, but telling each other they loved each other. My family's not real emotional. My mom nearly had a nervous breakdown when my papa turned out. He died of a stroke when I was in first grade. We always had dogs. My dad had hunting dogs. He would go. He had beagles for rabbit hunting, and he had hound dogs for coon hunting. They was all into. My mom even went with him. When I was a child, I used to go sing down to church with Robert Taylor Hansel. We were childhood friends and cousins. I would like to go to church and went to all the different churches around and sung. Went to Bible schools. Went to the different Bible schools every summer. Got a chance to go stay with my dad's side of the family, which was like 45 minutes away, for a week to go to their church's Bible school. I got to be around my cousins and stuff there. My dad was the oldest of the living kids. So I have an aunt and an uncle that's not too much older than me. They had big dinners when they celebrated special occasions and holidays. Every Sunday we went to church and went over to see my dad's parents. I have to say that my family has been dysfunctional. We've had alcoholics in our family. We've had a lot of variety of personalities, but all of them has always worked. That's been the role my life had. I have had to start over in my life a couple of times, but I know that I have to work, and I know how to get my life back together. My mom was her mama was a full-blooded Cherokee Indian, and I grew up across Pine Mountain in Big Laurel, Kentucky, where it's 45 minutes away from town, and it's not a very big town when you get over here to cross Pine Mountain. Um, I live close to Pine Mountain Settlement School, which is a place that people come from all over the world to tour and stay there. They do everything homemade and take classes and stuff like that. And we always had day camps and things like that to do. And there was a big swimming pool there as I grew up. So everybody in the community hung out. The kids from school hung out. So we grew up more like brother and sisters than we did just classmates. I didn't like going places with my family a lot because my dad was always in a bad mood and he would fight. It was a break to have people come stay a night with me because my family acted right in front of people. I was always made fun of for being overweight. Well, my dad done it, and then my brother done it. My brother now these days will, when my aunt will bring it up about how bad I was treated, that Robbie should, try to make up for it. Um, he'll admit it now that he just done it because my dad done it. He was doing what he was shown to do. Well, the positive note of that, it would be that I can take criticism and I can get my feelings hurt and know how to brush it off easier than most people would. I hated school. I ended up graduating from college, but I had to be tutored the whole time during college because I hated school. I was always singing, doing choir and that kind of thing. It was my thing in school. My favorite teacher would probably be Gail Pack. She was at James A. Kaywood High School, and she was just a really good lady. We even would go shopping together when I became a senior. She worked at Belk's at Simpson, that's a local store that we had out the mall. And she'd always tell me when they had good deals going on their makeup and stuff like that. She was just a real neat lady. I have a cosmetology license and went to cosmetology school during high school. And Miss Pack helped me a lot because I missed quite a bit because we had to go on, I was only off on Mondays, Sundays and Mondays. And with everything they require your senior year, I missed a lot of school by just hanging out and not wanting to get up on Monday mornings. I'd miss on Mondays, so I'd have an extra day off. I found out about a factory in Harlan. I ended up doing factory work. I ended up retiring in the factory. But it's the best job that I've ever had because the people there are all good people. It's for people that's had disabilities or had disabilities. I've always had good jobs because I did cosmetology for years in Lexington and paid my ex-husband's way through medical school, paid the rent and that kind of thing while he went to school. And it's always put food on the table. But then I went back to college because my ex-husband's a doctor to do medical, but I didn't really like it that well. But now I'm in a factory and I like it because you're by yourself, but then there's a group of people there too, but you do the same thing every day. I'm the fastest at what I do in my job now. And they have started training me for other jobs since I showed them that I can, that I'll actually work. And I show up for work every day. I always thought I would just wanted to be a hairdresser, but that's harder work than what people realize it. It's a lot harder work. I don't think I can stand on my feet and deal with the public now. And me being 47 years old, almost 50, I'm glad I found an escape and could retire from that. These days, I don't really have a personal life. I have friends I hang out with, and I hang out with my family, but they all have family. They have families, and I'm single. On my job now, we're timed. How fast you have to get it done perfectly, but it's you're timed. The more faster you can get it done, and it being in a perfect quality control, so it has to be a good quality. Plus, the speed has to be up. The more faster you can get it out with perfect quality, the more money you make. I worked fast food and I hated it. Fast food it will never be for me. Take advantage of the learning because they give you a training curve. Take advantage of that and learn as much as you can while you're in training so it don't take you so long to get used to everything. Honesty is the most important thing to me. Over the years, I've always been an honest person, but I would let people slide on not being so honest with me. These days, I can't handle liars because if they're going to lie, they're going to steal, they're going to do any kind of manipulation. I try to stick by the Word of God, do what the Bible says, to live to that the best of my ability. I won't be happy until I find somebody that really loves me, and that I can be in a marriage and have somebody there that tells me they love me every day. The purpose of life is for us to have families and friends and live the way God intended on us to live, happy. The most important is God. And I attend church twice a week now. I do a Bible study on one of the nights instead of just church. But it is important. It's changed me from, I can let things go that I've held on to for years. Things that's hurtful, by having that spiritual life. Therapist told me that I have different diagnoses of bipolar and schizophrenia, and one of those things is making irrational decisions. And she said I make decisions too fast. I need to stew on them and think on them more, and I've been trying to do that. I put up with too much stuff from people when I should have let them go. I give them more opportunities than what most would give them. It's what I've learned in life. That whenever they show you their true signs of who they are, you need to get out. Get out of the relationship, get out of the friendship. Being a good person is what I'd like to be remembered for. I want people to be able to say that I was a good person and that I gave people more opportunities than to show me that they're a good person than what most would, and non-judgmental. I beat myself up a lot over my past mistakes and regrets. I'm trying to do step work through AA now to the 12 steps to try to change, try to be able to let things go, not have resentments on things, not have resentments on myself. Family is success to me. Stress and anxiety is hard for me. I have to take medication for stress and anxiety. And I'll get to where I want to lay in the bed and not get up. And I've always heard the old people say that she'll take to the bed when stuff happens, and that's really the truth. The older I've got, those sayings like that I've found to be true. I evaluate myself every day to see what else happened in that day and what I can do to change the things that I'm not comfortable with. Politics, being in a small town, that's how I got my job, was politics. It was election time, and Stuart Lamar went to one of the main guys at Secretary, was running for magistrate office, told him he would put signs up in his yard if he would hire me. My mom said that you are lucky if you have one friend that's a true friend to you in your whole life. And that's true. A pivotal moment in my life would be coming out of drugs. When I lost my mom to cancer, I completely changed. I blamed God. I didn't understand why God had to take her, because she was a good person and helped a lot of people and was a witness for God. I don't know why he had to take her, and he couldn't take some people that don't work and don't take care of their kids and didn't, do things for, because my mom was a teacher and she took those kids that she taught the alternative class. So she took the kids that didn't have anything for Christmas, didn't wear nice clothes and stuff like that, and would buy them clothes or buy them stuff, and tell them about Jesus. The happiest I've been is when I had my little girl and was married to my husband. I thought that life couldn't get any better than that. Going to AA and going to NA and stuff like that, they say after you you do all the steps, and after you have been not an addict anymore and you're in recovery, that you'll look back on your life and not have any regrets, because it makes you the person that you are today. But I just don't see that being for me. I don't think that'll ever be me. I don't think I'll ever not regret losing time I lost with my family, losing time I lost with my kid. I was a drug addict, and the biggest accomplishment in my life has been turning away from drugs. It was more about my child than it was about me. I would never stop being a drug addict if I didn't have Lana. I had to choose to let my daughter go be with my ex-husband's mom and dad because I wasn't capable of taking care of her. But I didn't think it was going to be as permanent. I didn't think it would be as long as it was, or it has been. I never dreamed of anybody that knew me when I was a young person would have never thought I would ever be on drugs. I would have ever divorced Jeremy, that I'd ever been, divorced twice. Everything that's happened in my life, I never expected it. I've moved a lot. Once I got divorced from Jeremy, moved me around with his education, my first husband. But after he got divorced, I moved a lot because every time I'd move somewhere, my brother would move in with me, him and his ex-wife, or just him. And he was a drug addict then before I was a drug addict, and ended up robbing me blind. And I ended up losing my place that I had to live. Had to move back in with my dad several times. The only major obstacle I've ever overcome has been drugs. I'm doing life against all odds right now. The typical person that was doing the type of drugs that I was doing and the way I was doing them, because I was IV injecting them, don't usually come back. They don't come back to a normal life where they work every day and they have friends and can sit down and talk to you normal. I wish I could relive my pregnancy with my daughter, because I would have asked for help then. Because now I know there's rehabs and stuff that'll take a woman with a child. The most influential person in my life outside of my family has been you.
Oh.
Because you've been through so much similar stuff that I've been through, but you didn't ever turn to drugs or drinking or anything.
Make me cry now.
But you handled it.
I love you.
I love you. I work at Christ Hands now to give back, since I felt like I was a problem for the community being a drug addict. And my family having to see me that way, and people in my community having to see me that way that I grew up around, that they can see me trying to talk to those people down there, because most of them, or all of them, have had a drinking problem or a drug problem, is why they're homeless. I can honestly say I have one true friend, which is you, Shannon, and my friend Jennifer Shepherd Johnson. She checks on me now through Facebook, and she, has stayed in contact with me throughout the years. My perspective on relationships have changed because I am a people pleaser, and I want everybody to be the way I want them to be. I want them to be trustworthy. I have looked at it my whole life like, if I'm not capable of doing something, then other people aren't capable of doing something, and that's not true. People are capable of doing a whole lot that I'm not capable of doing. By using people, and even on drugs, people expect that I've done a whole lot worse than I've done. But I never did steal. I don't know how to keep a long-lasting relationship, because it's not worked out for me in any way whatsoever. The church that I go to now has supported me with me moving, has supported me while I was in sober living. They've really showed me what Christians are supposed to act like. I get real nervous in large groups of people still, because whenever I was on drugs, I isolated myself from everybody. I barely would come out of the house because I talked crazy. And I would end up thinking about it after I said it, and trying to convince myself against the drug that things was not reality. And it scared people. It's been hard to get past that and be able to try to make relationships with people. I nurture the wrong relationships. I am bad to end up loaning money to somebody and want to get my money back, so I stay in the relationship longer than what I should have. I'm glad where I grew up. I'm glad I grew up in a rural area. I'm glad that I grew up with my family all around me. Um, I'm glad I grew up with the community that everybody knows who I am. I usually don't resolve conflicts with people because I'm not argumentative. I don't backstab. I don't go and talk about people or the problems I have with people. I just withdraw from them altogether. I've lost contact with a whole lot of people over the years where I moved around a lot. There's a lot of different people. I'd like to see where they're at today. Facebook helps with that. I have found people that I hadn't, that I just come across my mind, and I've gone on Facebook and found them. And it's weird. It's kind of weird. A lot of them I feel like was friends with me because Jeremy was a doctor. Stayed in contact with me. Then some of the people I went to college with that I've ended up finding was really shocked and really don't message me back anymore since they found out we were divorced. I have a problem with trust. I want to trust everybody, and I want to put myself out there all the way. In the beginning, it's like, here's all my trust, here's everything about me, and then decide what level of I should decide what level of trust, give them just a little bit and see what they do with it and see how much respect they give it, and then decide to give them more or less. But I don't do that. I connected with my ex-husband, Kyle, as my friend. I didn't have that with my first husband and my husband. And I don't think I'll ever put myself out there like I did with him to anybody else. That's why I grieve over our relationship still. The most challenging period of my life was going through rehab and having to sit back with a clear mind about everything I'd lost. But it shaped who I am today because I appreciate people. I appreciate people that have stood by me once I've got off drugs. Some of the people, like you, would come around and check on me whenever I was on drugs. When I was in Bill County, I didn't have anybody. I failed at being a mom. And I used to keep foster kids for people that had failed their kids. And I had my own kid. God blessed me with my own kid, and I failed. That's a lot to deal with. That's a lot to have to live with. Now I'm looking for somebody to care about me, and I want somebody to love me, and I want a relationship, but it's been too risky. It's been nothing but a risk because it's hard to explain to people that I've been a drug addict and then saying I have a kid, and then they want to know where your kid is. You have to explain to them that you lost your kid, and what kind of person is that? There's nobody going to want to be with a person like that. I talked to my Aunt Ann about it, and she says I don't need to be dating anybody that has ever been a drug addict or ever had a drinking problem or anything, because they could be, I can take care of myself and make decisions for myself, but you can't force somebody else to do something.
That's good advice.
Every time I have a setback or a disappointment, I try to take it out of my mind and not think about it, because if I don't, I'll sit there and dwell on it. It causes me to have a miserable life. But I can honestly say that defeating drug addiction, because there's not many people that can. A lot of people will say that they're clean, and they won't be. They'll either drink all the time or be on so much medication from the doctor, which is the same difference. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. I feel like that God has a plan for me, it's slow action, and it gets very, very, very lonely. I have tried to have relationships with men, and it's been a failure every time. And every one of them, once we break up, ends up with a woman who marries them. The only way I can deal with crisis now and to keep myself from going crazy is by working and working and working, going to church and working. When I get in a setback, I sit there and think about what has happened in the past and how I've got out of it and try to use the quickest, safest route to overcome it. I've had severe uh, depression and extreme anxiety, and being bipolar and schizophrenic now has been hard to deal with because I've heard voices. The biggest turning point in my life was getting the job that I have. If I wouldn't have got that job, my life would still be in a disastrous mess. The hardest lesson I've had to learn in life is that just because you love somebody don't mean they're going to love you back. Me getting divorced this last time was the most difficult thing I've ever went through. Then my dad died at the same time. I didn't want to live at all for a long time. I was too much of a coward to take my own life. I don't let myself care about people right off the bat like I used to. I have guards up now. The things I feel most passionate about is spending time with people that I care about. That's my hobbies and everything, is spending time with people because you don't know how long we're going to be here. My creative side of myself is I write songs, working steps at AA. I've been real passionate about it. Just let me let go of a lot of stuff. I had to bring a lot of stuff up that I wasn't particularly proud of or didn't really want to think about, but I worked through them. There was a time that I had to fight for my own mind, that I had to fight for uh, every thought that I had. I had to fight through it to see if it was reality or fiction. And that's horrible. It's horrible. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Whatever's going on in my life at that time, where I write stuff down, I journal the stuff down into like songs or just write it down to get it out. Well, being creative with my clothes and my hair and makeup and stuff like that, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't as crazy as I am.
Flashy.
I'm very flashy.
I love it.
I wish I had the money to really shop.
If you like those Real Housewives with them big bougie dresses.
Right, wouldn't have to wash clothes ever, that I would just be able to wear a different thing every day. I've always wanted to come back to Harlan and be able to put something in the mall or something to help, give people stuff to do. I try to take time out for myself just to sit and think and evaluate the day and not forget about, try to, try to suggest things to friends to be able to go and do stuff. I don't like doing anything on my own. Being able to say that I graduated college and graduated cosmetology school and graduated high school is big accomplishments for me. I'm proud of that. I can say that I have done something in life of value. Me being so creative with my hair and makeup and stuff like that has been a problem for some people.
I think it's fabulous.
I have worried about, over the last couple of years, I have started focusing on myself instead of focusing on somebody else. Where I've always been married or been in a relationship, I would put the focus on whoever I was in the relationship with instead of myself, and I've had to focus on myself and get to know myself again. Time's short. You need to do as much as you can do while you're alive and you're able to, because you'll turn around, you'll be 50 years old.
I know. In my mind, I'm still 16.
I know.
And my body says, no, you're not.
Mm-hmm. My advice to my younger self, for one, would be never to have got on drugs, which is a given. But the other one would be I would have lost weight. I'd never let if I went back and talked to my younger self, I'd have lost weight then and took good care of myself better so I didn't wear myself down. Because standing on my feet and stuff, being heavy, has broke my legs down, has really took a toll on my body. I have big plans. I have these big dreams now that I'm going to start taking these diet pills and going to get skinny and find me a good husband, and that everything, that people's going to view me different, and that it's going to be different. It's by being skinny, getting to be skinny again, and be in my right mind this time. Because when I was skinny before, I got a lot of attention from men, but I was out of my mind. I thought I was so paranoid. I thought they had motives, and probably missed out on a good man. I hope my family and my friends that are my real friends, I hope that they are happy, because I have a handful, and when I say my family, I talk about the ones that actually have stuff to do with me, because I can't even consider half my family anymore. And I don't understand that, because it's such a big difference. With Robbie, whenever he was on drugs, he stole from them. He was constantly coming to their houses and moving in with them, staying at Shirley's, causing everybody a big bunch of chaos and aggravation. I didn't do that to nobody. But yet I'm the one, and Robbie lost his kids. They didn't ever get to see his kid, either one of his kids. And
I think it's a double standard, like you were treated differently.
I've been treated differently from him my whole life. It's extremely unfair. At the time that drugs is wiping people out, and it's a live or die, to where they'll see all the different overdoses that's happened around here, and they will, the next generation won't be on drugs like this. They'll see that there's too many rehabs that's opened and too many different kinds of rehabs that they can pick one that'll work. Because I feel like I was lucky in the one I got.
What changes do you hope to see in the world within your lifetime?
Not as many people on drugs, and doctors not writing drugs like they had before. I plan on retiring when I turn 65. Because I put my time in, and you can retire at 65. Somebody said the other day that it's supposed to go up to 67. I was like, that's great. That's just 2 more years I have to work. But I'll have to work them. I'll have to work till I'm 65. Unless I just magically find a rich man that's going to take care of me. I've made big changes in my current lifestyle. I'm on a diet. I'm losing weight. I gained over 100 pounds from my mamma's to when I went to my mamma's to rehab. Well, actually in that apartment too, I'd started gaining weight because I wasn't doing drugs every day. People can change. No matter where your life's at and what kind of, even mental health problems, that you can overcome that kind of stuff. I don't feel like that living in Harlan that we don't get exposed to such rapid change in the world. I think that's a good thing. I just keep up with what people say. I do not have a bucket list, but I think I'm going to make one. I think I'm going to make me a bucket list. I dread the future if it gets more involved in technology. I won't be able to watch TV or use a telephone if it gets any more high tech. I think about the past, and I don't want to get swallowed back up in it. So that's what keeps me looking forward. I hope some of these laws change for people that have been on drugs or had some kind of problems where they've lost their kids, that if they go get treatment and they have sincerely changed, that they can get back in their kids' lives, that it ain't permanent. Hi, my name is Melody. Thank you for listening to my story. The best advice I have is not to let the past predict or overcome your future. Thank you. Get up, team.